biggest question is whether the reflection of sunlight is coming from a solid surface or maybe a dense cloud of dust.
This interstellar object is passing through our solar system, and it just did something that's left scientists absolutely stunned. It fired a jet of material straight toward the sun. That's the cosmic equivalent of a ship steering directly into a hurricane without slowing down. Top Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb argues this is just one of a dozen major red flags. And now, as it draws closer to the sun, its shape seems to morph into a bizarre teardrop form. The strange truth is, this object's secrets go far deeper than just a backward tail. Physics itself seems to have flipped upside down. On August 2nd, 2025, astronomers at the Teide Observatory in Spain aimed their powerful 2-meter twin telescope toward a faint, drifting speck of light. The object, officially named 3I Atlas, became only the third interstellar visitor ever detected. Scientists couldn't wait to uncover what made it tick. After combining 159 long exposures, a ghostly image emerged, and what it revealed stunned even the experts. Extending from the object was a faint jet stretching nearly 3,700 meters into space. But there was one massive problem. It was pointing directly at the sun. To understand why this is such a bombshell, we need to talk about how comets normally behave. Comets are basically frozen time capsules, dirty snowballs made of ice, dust, and rock. As they get closer to the sun, the heat causes that ice to vaporize in a process called sublimation. The gas and dust it releases form a glowing atmosphere around the comet called a coma, and a long, beautiful tail that streams away behind it. But here's the thing, that tail always points away from the sun. Always. That's because the sun is constantly firing a stream of charged particles called the solar wind. Along with intense radiation, this wind acts like a cosmic leaf blower, pushing gas and dust outward, forcing every comet's tail to face away from the sun. No matter where the comet is or how it moves, that rule never breaks. It's one of the most basic, unshakable laws of celestial mechanics. But when scientists looked at 3I Atlas, that rule shattered. What many overlooked in their rush to call it a comet was that its jet, this so-called anti-tail, was doing the exact opposite. It was fighting against the solar wind, shooting into the stellar gale. Avi Loeb, a renowned and often controversial physicist from Harvard University, compared it to seeing a photo of an animal everyone insists is a cat, but the tail is sticking out of its forehead. It's not just strange, it's physically impossible. If that sunward jet were made of normal comet dust, it would be blown away, not pulled forward. The particles that scatter sunlight the most, the ones that make a comet's tail visible, are tiny. About the same size as the wavelength of light. Those would be the first to get pushed back. But that's not what's happening here. Instead, we see a tight, focused plume, a jet firing directly toward the sun. And this wasn't a one-time glitch. The Hubble Space Telescope had spotted the same sunward glow weeks earlier. Now the powerful twin telescope in Spain had confirmed it. This was no illusion. It was a persistent, deliberate looking feature of 3I Atlas. This strange behavior raises two chilling questions. What on earth, or beyond it, is this jet made of? And why are so many experts pretending it's not there? Because this jet is just the first clue. The impossible sunward jet was just the beginning. The smoking gun that cracked the story wide open. But as scientists dug deeper into 3I Atlas, the list of strange, impossible details started piling up fast. Each new observation made the just another comet theory crumble a little more. Avi Loeb and other researchers began connecting the dots, and what they uncovered painted the picture of an object unlike anything humanity has ever seen. First, let's talk about its sheer scale and speed. This thing is a monster. Based on its brightness, scientists estimate 3I Atlas is roughly 1,000,000 times more massive than our first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, and 1,000 times heavier than the second one, 2I Borisov. It's also moving significantly faster than both. Right away, we're looking at something that's a total outlier in every measurable way: size, speed, and brightness. And in astronomy, when something breaks the pattern this hard, it usually means one thing: there's more to the story. Then came its trajectory. And that's where things got really suspicious. Our solar system is shaped like a flat disk, with all the planets orbiting along a narrow plane called the ecliptic. So statistically, interstellar visitors should come in from random directions: above, below, or from the sides. But not 3I Atlas. Its path through space is almost perfectly aligned and within just 5 degrees of the ecliptic plane. It's flying in the same plane as the planets, like it's following a flight plan. The odds of that happening purely by chance are microscopic. And it gets even stranger. Its route through the solar system seems too perfect, with close flybys of Mars, Venus, and even Jupiter, like a tourist taking a guided tour of all the most interesting worlds. The coincidences just keep stacking up. But the real shock came when scientists analyzed its chemical makeup, because that's when the comet theory completely fell apart. When astronomers examined the light coming from 3I Atlas's gas plume, what they found defied every expectation. The object was releasing nickel, but no detectable iron. That might not sound like much, but in nature, nickel and iron are inseparable twins. They're forged together in the hearts of dying stars, and nearly every asteroid or comet we've ever studied contains both. Finding nickel without iron is almost unheard of in the natural universe, but it's very common in materials created through industrial processes here on Earth. And that wasn't all. The ratio of nickel to another compound, cyanide, was thousands of times higher than in any known comet, even the other interstellar one, 2E Borisov. The weirdness just kept coming. Based on its size and brightness, comet experts predicted 3I Atlas should be packed with water ice. A massive, active body like this should have been venting water vapor by the ton, but when they measured it, the results were shocking. The gas plume contained only 4% water by mass. That's practically dry compared to normal comets, which are mostly frozen water. This directly contradicted every mainstream model and sent scientists back to the drawing board. And that wasn't the only anomaly. The way 3I Atlas polarized light, how it scattered and reflected sunlight, was completely off the charts. It showed an extremely negative polarization, something never seen before at this magnitude in any comet ever observed. And then came a final, eerie coincidence that made researchers' jaws drop. The direction it arrived from in the sky was eerily close, within just 9 degrees, of the source of the WOW signal, the powerful and unexplained radio transmission detected back in 1977. Some have long suspected that signal might have been of extraterrestrial origin. One anomaly can be dismissed. 2 can be coincidence. But 7 or 8 all tied to one single object? That's no longer random. That's a pattern. A pattern that points away from a natural explanation and toward something else entirely. This isn't the first time we felt that strange sense of déjà vu from deep space. Before 3I Atlas baffled scientists, there was another visitor, one that started this entire cosmic mystery. In 2017, an object known as Oumuamua, Hawaiian for scout, became the very first interstellar visitor ever detected. And just like 3I Atlas, it broke every rule in the book. Oumuamua was oddly shaped. He's somewhere between a cigar and a pancake, tumbling end over end as it sped through the solar system. But the real mystery wasn't its shape, it was its behavior. As it moved away from the sun, Oumuamua began to accelerate, ever so slightly, but undeniably. Something was pushing it. Yet telescopes saw no gas, no dust, no tail. None of the usual signs of a comet venting material. It was moving on its own, with no visible propulsion. That's when Avi Loeb stepped into the spotlight. He co-authored a paper suggesting something bold. We eyed that Oumuamua wasn't a comet or asteroid at all, but something else entirely. He proposed it was thin, perhaps only a millimeter thick, ethereal and being pushed not by gas or gravity, but by sunlight itself. In other words, a solar sail. And a solar sail, of course, is technology, a method humans have long theorized for interstellar travel. The reaction from the scientific community was explosive. Many dismissed the idea as science fiction, calling it speculative or sensationalist. Others scrambled to come up with natural explanations, everything from a nitrogen iceberg to a cosmic dust bunny. But each new theory came with its own fatal flaws, relying on assumptions even less likely than Loeb's idea. By the time the debate hit its peak, Oumuamua was already gone, sailing out of our solar system, too fast to catch, leaving only questions in its wake. And now, with 3I Atlas, it feels like round 2. Another interstellar object, another series of impossible behaviors, another reminder that something out there isn't following the script. While Oumuamua was small and eerily quiet, 3I/Atlas is huge and active, yet both share one defining trait: they defy the laws we know. Oumuamua accelerated without a tail. 3I Atlas has a tail that points the wrong way. Both challenge the physics we take for granted, and both may point to the same chilling conclusion. For Avi Loeb, this isn't coincidence, it's evidence. The odds of 2 interstellar visitors, both showing completely unexplainable behavior, arriving so close together in time, astronomically low. To him, it suggests something deeper, a pattern that might reveal we're not alone. And that brings us to the theory many scientists refuse to even discuss. What if 3I Atlas isn't a natural object at all? What if it's a piece of extraterrestrial technology? An autonomous probe sent by another civilization, just as we send robotic explorers like Voyager or New Horizons across our solar system. It sounds extraordinary, but so does the evidence. That mysterious sunward jet, the one defying every law of comet physics, could be more than a jet of gas. It could be a propulsion system, perhaps a plasma engine or another advanced drive designed to maneuver against the solar wind. It might be adjusting its course, slowing down, or taking position for observation. Its strange chemical composition, nickel without iron, might not be random either. It could be the telltale fingerprint of manufactured alloys, materials built for endurance and heat resistance, not natural formation. And that near-perfect in-plane trajectory through the solar system, combined with those close planetary flybys, that could be a deliberate flight path, a programmed tour through the inner worlds, a mission of observation. Of course, this is an extraordinary claim, and extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. But Loeb argues that's exactly what we're seeing. Not one or two, but a cascade of anomalies that together form a compelling picture. To him, the real problem isn't the data, it's us. Many in the scientific establishment, he says, are suffering from a failure of imagination. They're so afraid of stepping outside the boundaries of conventional thinking that they ignore the evidence staring them in the face. They see a tail and call it a comet, even when the tail is pointing the wrong direction. It's scientific dogma, and Loeb believes it's holding us back. History is filled with moments when new discoveries shattered old beliefs, when humanity had to admit it was wrong. And Avi Loeb argues this might be one of those moments. He isn't claiming with certainty that 3I Atlas is an alien probe. What he's saying is that the data demands we at least consider the possibility. If something is flying through our solar system, breaking the laws of physics as we know them, and displaying behavior no natural object should, we owe it to ourselves to investigate. Loeb believes we need to stop dismissing the unknown and start searching for answers. That's why he founded the Galileo Project, a scientific initiative dedicated to systematically looking for evidence of extraterrestrial technology in our skies and beyond. He envisions telescopes and sensors built specifically to track these interstellar visitors. And maybe, one day, even intercept one up close. Because like Oumuamua, 3I/Atlas is already on its way out. Soon it will drift too far, too fast for any of our spacecraft to reach. All we'll have left are a few ghostly images, some puzzling data, and questions that may haunt us for decades. Loeb's warning is simple. If we keep turning away from evidence that challenges our assumptions, we'll miss the biggest discovery in human history. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to us, but sometimes the truth doesn't wait for permission to be believed. So we're left with one final question. Is it easier to invent new laws of physics, or to accept that we might not be alone? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more cosmic mysteries hiding in plain sight. Breaking the laws of physics as we know them, and displaying behavior no natural object should, we owe it to ourselves to investigate. Loeb believes we need to stop dismissing the unknown and start searching for answers. That's why he founded the Galileo Project, a scientific initiative dedicated to systematically looking for evidence of extraterrestrial technology in our skies and beyond. He envisions telescopes and sensors built specifically to track these interstellar visitors. And maybe, one day, even intercept one up close. Because like Oumuamua, 3I/Atlas is already on its way out. Soon it will drift too far, too fast for any of our spacecraft to reach. All we'll have left are a few ghostly images, some puzzling data, and questions that may haunt us for decades. Loeb's warning is simple. If we keep turning away from evidence that challenges our assumptions, we'll miss the biggest discovery in human history. The universe is under no obligation to make sense to us, but sometimes the truth doesn't wait for permission to be believed. So we're left with one final question. Is it easier to invent new laws of physics, or to accept that we might not be alone? Let us know your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover more cosmic mysteries hiding in plain sight.